Welcome to the Pursuit of Constant Improvement podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you how to live a life by design rather than a life by default. A life that you can be truly proud of, a life that you can be fulfilled by, rather than a life of obligation and insignificance. Now, to start with, I want to make it very clear what a life is by design and why you would want to live one, and what a life by default is. Now, a life by design is exactly what it sounds like. You choose your days. You are the architect of your life. It is by design. You choose what you want to do and you get to where you want to be because of that. It's purpose driven. It is yours. It's filled with growth. It's filled with improvement. And you feel excited about every single day. You wake up ready to tackle what's ahead of you because you know it's purpose driven. It is by design. It is what you want, not what others want. That's a life by design. Now, life by default is when you live reactively. It's when you live based on other people's expectations, based on societal norms. You should do this, you should do that. Go to school, then go to uni, get a job, do this, do that. You should be with this person because of this. You should live here because of that. That is a life by default, where your actions are driven based off expectations from others. It's not by design. It's not what you want, it's what others want. It's what's forced onto you. You're driven more by obligation rather than by purpose. You're doing things because you have to, not because you want to, or not because it's your life's mission. Now, if I give you an example of that, obviously I'm an online self-improvement coach. With my clients, I do not feel obligated to help my clients. I feel the need to serve them. I have a deep purpose deep within me where I want to serve them. I don't feel like, oh, fucking hell, I have to help them with this. Oh, I have to do this. I have to record their upgrade feedback. I have to go on a coaching call with them. I want to serve them. It's my desire. I want to help these people. I want to have impact. Selfishly, that's what I want. I want impact. I want to change people's lives. Now, that reflects in me serving them. That's what I deeply want. So my life is not by obligation. I don't feel like I have to do this or have to do that. I do it because I want to do it. And you can imagine the purpose and fulfillment that that brings into my life. Now, you can do this with your life too. And that's exactly what we're going to go into. Because the difference in both of them, like there's really a mindset difference. If you live a life by default, you do things out of fear and obligation. Whereas if you do things from an aspect of design, you do it out of purpose, out of a desire. You want to do it. So that should kind of give you an idea of which one you're living right now. Because the real difference is intention. That's one of the big things I want you to take from this episode. The difference between living a life by design or a life by default is intention. If you live by default, there is no intention. You're dragged in whatever direction life takes you. People ask you to do this, people tell you to do that, and you do it. A life by design, however, is with intention. You are the architect of that life. You design your days to help you achieve a vision of what you want in the future. You do things with purpose. You do things with intent. So that is a word you're going to hear me repeat a lot today, is intent. I talk about this all the time with my clients. Like, I question them. I say, are you living with intention right now? Or are you just going through your days day to day? Like, you waking up and thinking, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that because it's going to help me become better at this. It's going to help push me towards what I want. That's someone with intention. If you want to feel more purpose driven, you have to live with intention. So that is the real difference there. Now, if you didn't have intention to become better, you would not be listening to this podcast right now. So I already know you're on the right track. So you might seem, from me saying all that, you might feel a million miles away and think, fuck, I'm far off of that. I'm constantly doing things through obligation and through fear and through the feeling that I need to do it. It's fine, because right now you're showing clear intent to change. Now, the important thing is that you do make the changes off the back of it. Now, I have a question for you, which will very easily allow us to determine if you're living a life by design or by default. It will allow us to understand if you need to make change. That question is your routine building your future or just maintaining your past? Think of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Think of the past 4 weeks for me. What I want you to do is imagine it on a calendar. If I had to get your calendar and it would show everything you've done over the past 4 weeks, day to day, every single hour was accounted for. If you were to look at that calendar and all of your actions, would that reflect what you want from life? Would that reflect the type of future that you want to build? Or would it just be maintaining the life that you have now? What you're probably going to realize is that, holy shit, I may not be doing the things I need to do to get to where I want to be and to live the life I want to live. Well, this is good. This is awareness. This is where change starts. So we need to know that. Again, we look at that as if our life, if it was painted on a calendar, would it show us the future that we want? Because if you show me your calendar, I will show you your future. If I had to show you my calendar right now, you would be able to tell what my goals are. You'd be able to see I spend a lot of time in my business, spend a lot of time in my own self-improvement, reading and learning. I spend a lot of time in the gym. I spend my time doing things like this, creating content. You'd be like, oh, this guy wants to build his business. He wants to scale his personal brand. He wants to become a better human being. I spend all time not doing that. I'm spending with my loved ones, with my closest friends, with my girlfriend. That's what I want to do with my time. It's by design. If somebody wants to spend time with me, see, unless I value that, I'm not doing it. To other people, that sounds selfish. I really don't care. Like, I have people in my life that are incredibly meaningful to me. I want to spend time with them. Spending time with people that do not drive my purpose, drive my mission, drive my fulfillment is a waste of that. It's taking away from them. That's the mindset I have. Any time that I spend not working on my mind, my body, my business, my relationship, my friendships, my vision, my values, any time not spent on that is wasted time. It is stolen time. So if somebody ever's like, oh, can you come and do this and help me with that? And I know they've got no intention, there's no clear purpose behind it, I'm a fuck doing that. Because I've got to the stage in my life where I don't value that. So this is a really important aspect of living a life by design. Because essentially, what we want to make sure is our actions are aligned with a vision, with what we want from the future. That's how you know if you're living a life by design. You just say, right, are the actions I'm doing every single week pushing me towards the future I want? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Now, if I use my experience of like living a life by design, obviously today I'm now currently in Bali for the next 2 months in total. I've been in Thailand for 6 weeks before that. I'm going elsewhere after that. I live in some pretty cool places because I want to. Because I want to wake up ahead of the day in terms of time zone difference. I want to train Muay Thai in the morning. I want to work on my self-improvement. Then I want to start working in the business. I want to experience nice places, go and do nice things. That's the type of life I want to live. I want to live in the sun. I want to have all my time to do the things I want to do. That's the type of life that I've built. Now, I didn't used to do that. I used to work in a gym where I was stuck on a gym floor in a small town around certain people that I didn't want to be around. So I was looking at it like, okay, I'm starting to live by default. So then my actions had to change to reflect the type of life that I wanted to live. And that's how I started to live by design. Now, there's a quote that I love, and it says, you have two choices. You can make a living, or you can design a life. So again, you can make a living or design a life. It's up to you. You just turn up to work and go home and go out on the weekend and do the things that most people do. You're just making a living. That's it. Or you can live a life that you've designed with clear intent behind it. That's what we want. I chose that life by design, and you can too, rather than that. Now, one of the first stages to doing that, one of the first things that I done was I built out a vision. You have to understand what you want. If you want to live by design, we must understand what we want. Because once you understand what you want, you can reverse engineer off the back of it. You can realize, okay, this is what I have to do to get to where I want to be. Then you can build out a routine that allows you to do those things. That's what I've done with my life. If I go back 6 years ago to a time when I wasn't living with intent, when I had ideas, I was like, right, okay, if I want to be more disciplined, I want to be consistent, I want to be a really good speaker, I want to be knowledgeable, I want to be able to provide a lot of value and have a huge impact on people's lives, I needed to increase my knowledge. So I spent my time researching, I spent my time practicing, I spoke to myself in the car, I recorded myself speaking, I started creating content, I created non-negotiables around these things. How much time I had to spend researching, how much time I had to spend speaking on content, how much content I had to create. That was a life by design because I wanted this life I now have. So these are the things we have to think of there. Now, one of the things I also want you to understand is one of the things I've done, there's two things really. So if you want to understand what you want, two things you can ask yourself. First of all, what don't you want? Because I get it. When someone asks you the question of what you want from life, sometimes you're like, I don't fucking know. I kind of know, I kind of don't. Ask yourself what you don't want. You don't want to be out of shape. You don't want to lack confidence. You don't want to not be a provider. You don't want to feel insignificant. You want to feel like you don't want to feel like you're not impacting anybody. Great. What's the opposite of that? That's what you want. So by process of elimination, we realize the things we don't want. The opposite of that becomes true, what we do want. So again, ask yourself that question. What don't I want from life? You don't want to work a dead-end job. You don't want to be around uninspiring people. Great. Then you know what you do want. You want the opposite of that. So it gives you far more context than that. Another thing that really helped me was the 3 big decisions. I spoke about this in the last podcast episode. Who you choose to marry, what you choose to do for a living, and where you choose to live. Those 3 things impact your life more than anything. So if you want to live a life by design, a purpose-driven, fulfilling life, those 3 decisions must be clear for you. No, nothing will impact you more than the partner that you're with, your life partner, because you spend the most time with them, other than yourself. They influence everything. So make sure you choose the right person. And if you want to make sure you choose the right person, you have to get a very clear idea of who that is. I spent a ton of time doing that. I looked at, right, what type of woman do I want to be with? Because then when I started dating people and going out with different people, I started to realize, okay, this clearly isn't what I want long term, so I should probably end this because their values don't align with mine. This isn't the type of woman I want to be with. I'm clearly not the type of man she wants to be with or needs to be with. So then it made decision making clearer for me. Now I knew I wanted to be with a really self-aware, emotionally intelligent girl who was caring, who wanted to do certain things in life. She was spontaneous, wanted to travel, was humorous, all these different things. I painted a picture of that woman and what I wanted, and I attracted that into my life. Other women came and go, and I was like, okay, well, this trait I don't like, this trait I do. Coming back to that question, what don't you want? When I had a bad experience, you could say, with a woman, I would just look at it and say, right, okay, I don't want that. Great experience. What do I want? So that was one of the decisions. Again, the next one, where do you want to live? Do you want to live in the small town you were brought up in? That's fine. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want more. Then get clear on that. What do you want to do for a living? I understand this is a huge question and you might not know that. So you need to understand, what don't you want from life? Okay, once you understand what you don't want, what do you want? How can you align your job with that? Because it's possible. The thing is, most people just aren't willing to work towards it. Because you can live a life by design. You can do any job you want to do. It's just, are you willing to put in the work in order to get there? Do you have the patience to wait 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years to get there? You probably don't. And if you don't, then the simple answer is you won't get that life by design. However, if you do, and you really fucking want that, you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to be patient, then you will get that. So again, 2 ways to help us paint that picture for the future and understand what we want. Ask ourselves, what don't we want? And by process of elimination, we realize what we do. The second thing, ask those 3 big questions in life. Who do I want to marry? Where do I want to live? And what do I want to do for a living? Because no other thing will impact you more than those 3 things there. The next thing I would do, and this is what I'd done, is you have to create a calendar that reflects the type of life that you want to live. So I gave you that example of if I had to paint out absolutely everything from your life in the past month, what would that show us? Maybe you're watching Netflix all the time, you're going out every weekend, you're not training as much as you should be. Maybe you're not working in the business or working your career as much as you should be. Then that shows you the type of life you're going to live. There's no change going to be made there. Change doesn't happen by chance. It happens through change. So you need to change your routine. So a calendar can be a great way to do that. Like, I map out at least 5 days of the week, every single hour of my day. Might seem obsessive, but I love it. Gives me clarity. I can look at my calendar every week and look at my goals. I'm saying, right, this is my vision. I want to be a disciplined guy. I want to build my online coaching business. I want to have impact. I want to help change lives. I want to grow my personal brand. I want to improve and grow my relationship. Am I committing time to all of these things? I can look at my calendar and see that. If the answer is no, I need to look at my next week and say, right, how do I change that? These are the things you have to do. So having a calendar allows you to do that. Because you must act like the man to become the man. You must do the things you have to do to get the life you want to live. So what does that look like for you? Understand what you want, have a calendar that reflects that, and you will get there. That is a life by design. Now, when it comes to creating that calendar, I use Google Calendar. It's a great app. You can color code it and shit. You can make it look all pretty, or you can just use it simply. As long as it works for you. It doesn't matter how you use it. So one of the things I would recommend is to plan your week ahead. If you want to start living with intention, plan your week ahead. Think of that idea I just told you. You've got this idea of who you want to be, the traits, the characteristics you want to embody. Maybe the type of career you want to have. Maybe you do have a lot of clarity on these things. Amazing. What do you have to do in order to get there? I need to study to become better at this skill or this characteristic. I need to spend time on this relationship. I need to spend time in this environment. I need to spend X amount of time in the gym, planning my nutrition, all these things. Great. You have a list of tasks which should be non-negotiables, which you plan into your week. So whatever those things that are going to move you forward towards the type of person you want to be, put them in your fucking calendar. Make them non-negotiable. Have intent. Don't just go through your weeks and wake up and say, right, oh, fuck, what am I going to do today? I should probably go to the gym. Oh, fuck, I really need to read that book. Fuck that. That's someone who lacks intention and lacks purpose. What do you expect? Literally, what do you expect to get from life if you go along with no intention and you just expect things to happen to you? Somebody who gets what they want from life has intention. Everything is built out by design. And that's exactly how you do it from there. So non-negotiables is the way I do it. I just looked at what I wanted, created non-negotiables that would help me get there. Go to the gym X amount of times per week, spend X amount of time in the business, do these tasks, tick them off. Once you tick them off, we build consistency with that. We start to build the life that we want by design. Now, some traps that I want you to avoid, these are things that I have partially fallen into, or a lot of people will fall into. The first of which, when we start to live a life by design, we think of all the big fucking amazing things. Oh, the Lamborghinis, the Rolexes, the this, the that, the certain amount of money. Especially if you're in business, what we start to do is live someone else's dream. If I give you an example, in business, everybody talks about the magic 10K per month. Make 10K per month. Oh, then you'll be living an amazing life, whatever. I questioned that right away. I was like, right, okay, do I need 10K per month? Well, first of all, what does that actually fucking mean? The business makes 10K per month. How much do I get of that? Because a lot of people, I know people making 10, 15, 20, 30K per month. They see bugger all of that because their margins are so low. But again, this isn't a business podcast right now, so I'm not going to talk about that. But what we need to realize is do not live someone else's dream. Just because somebody else tells you need to make X amount of money, you need to have this car, you need to do that. Fucking bullshit. You have to have the awareness of what you really want, or else you'll start living someone else's life. That's not a life by design. That's a life by default. All these fucking pretenders are living these lives and putting this picture of the Rolex and whatever because other people want to see it. When you see a picture of my Instagram, that is exactly what I envision. That is exactly what I want. Like my body, I've envisioned. My mind, read the captions. All these things I've been thinking about. I don't just fucking take it from someone else and post it. I post it because this is what I want from life. This is the life I've curated for myself. I've been the architect of my own life and I'm incredibly proud of it. So we have to realize, what do we really want? Don't live someone else's dream. Understand what it is from your life. It's like for me, like all the business things, it's like, okay, I'll make 10K per month. I ask myself, do I need 10K per month? Okay, well, if I make 10K per month, the business will be making that. So how much will I make? I realize how much I actually do need to live the type of life that I want to live, and I go and do that. So if I was to make 5, 6, or 7 grand per month, it gives me the life that I want. Whereas I could continue to chase an extra 3, 4 grand a month, and then what that's going to do is going to remove my time freedom because I'm putting more time into the business. Of course, you can delegate at some point, but I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to take on more clients than I probably want. And then I'm starting to live someone else's dream. It's like, right, how many clients do I want to work with? What type of clients do I want to work with? How much money do I need to live the type of life that I want? How much money do I want? Now, that's going to grow over time. A ton. But right now, it's like, right, what do I need? Rather than living someone else's dream and just taking it for, okay, so-and-so said this. These are the questions you need to ask yourself. Now, don't seek validation. Realize what you truly want. It's in line with that. We're always seeking it. Oh, well, so-and-so think this is a life by design. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think is a life by design. I hope you know what is a life by design for you. You go and live that. My life might be different to yours. Realize what it is for you and live that life. Contradictory to one of the points that I just mentioned, stop fucking planning and start taking action. Because what I'll see is people build out their calendar. Amazing. You're fucking crushing it. Good shit. Have some intent with your week. And then I'll start saying, no, well, I'll move this, I'll move that. Just fucking do it. Do the thing. That simple phrase can be life-changing. Do the thing. People ask me about it all the time, like, oh, I want to create content, but I'm too scared to do it. How do I get better at doing it? Do the thing. Create the video. So, oh, I want to build this life that I want to live. Do the thing. What is the thing for you? Going to the gym, working on your business, working on your mind. Just do those things. Stop overcomplicating it, especially in the beginning. Another thing is don't dwell on tasks. Reframe them. Because what's going to happen is when you have this life by design you want to live, you're going to start thinking, oh, I'm not living that life right now. I'm doing all these tasks. I'm working this job I hate. Reframe it. This job that you hate is giving the finances that you need to live the life that you're going to be living. You just right now need the savings to then take the risk and build the life that you want. So right now, don't think of it as, oh, fuck this job. Think, oh my God, this job's amazing. It's paying me X amount. I'll soon be able to live a life totally by design. Again, you have intention behind it. So don't dwell on things. Dwelling does nothing but drain us of energy. All the negatives in your life, reframe them. Okay, I don't like doing this. Okay, but how is it helping you with your overall mission? Because until we get to a stage where we can delegate, we can't do that. Now, I want to leave you with one thing for this episode, and it is a quote, very simple quote by Naval Ravikant, who I quote all the time on this podcast. He's one of my favorite human beings on this earth in terms of from my content, just all the things he's provided to this world, all the content I've consumed from him is amazing. He said, the only real test of intelligence is if you get what you want from life. So many people are like, oh, I need this, I need that. I want this, I want that. Oh, what if I get this or what if I get that? What is it that you actually want? For me, I say it in every podcast episode almost. I want a fit body, calm mind, and a house full of love. I want to build a life that I can be proud of. I want to have a mind, body, and business and relationship, family that I can be proud of. I know all the things that I want. I'm working towards that. I've done a fucking great job of that in the past few years, and I'm extremely proud of myself for that. Now, if somebody says to me, oh, you need a business that does $1 million in turnover every year, I don't need that. Might have it one day, but I don't need it. I need those things. It's clear for me what I want. So a successful life to me is all of those things. The real test of intelligence, the smartest people that you will ever meet are the people that get what they want from life. People can sound smart, that they're doing all these things, but are they truly living a life by design? Are they truly living a life that they want to live? Well, in my opinion, and in Naval Ravikant's opinion, that is not real intelligence. They are not living a successful life. To me, that's what success is. It's living a life that you want to live. So I hope this episode has helped you define what that is for you. I hope it's made you realize that living a life by design is very much possible. The things that I've spoke about today are all the things that I have done. And I hope that you can apply them into your own pursuit of constant improvement. Thank you for listening.